Leigh, it's Sunday night at 10 o'clock. I'm a poker player. Get me out of here.
Yeah, we're at that time of year, aren't we? Yeah.
Get me out of here.
All kicking off already. Yeah,
Oh.
Sunday night is what poker's all about, isn't it? Well, unless you're in Vegas, in which case every day for what feels like the last 2 months has been what poker's all about. But that's now coming to an end as well. But yeah, it's usual Sunday night stuff. Des, we're on leaderboard ladders again. Lots going on. You'd be surprised. I'm sat at 2 tables myself playing tonight, playing APAT games as well. Somehow I've final tabled the PLO 2 weeks on the bounce. I'm pretty sure I'll probably bubble it 2 weeks on the bounce as well, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm also in the turbo, the 9 o'clock turbo as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we have got a final table of both the 2 main events tonight, No Limit Hold'em and the PLO. They are at a final table point. But let me run you through what's already happened so far tonight, whilst glancing to check whether I've got any decent cards that I want to play with. So the deep stack that had 74 runners, just one shy of the guarantee.
Great, love it.
$750 in the prize pool. Cassio Duarte from Brazil beat Greg McDonald from Canada heads up. Cassio picking up just over $200 there, so very well done to them. The main event, 68 runners, we're down to 8 as I'm all in with 8s versus 10s in the turbo. Hold, and we do, and we bust another player. On we go. Excellent.
Another customer down.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, the main event, we're down to the final table, so we're going to jump straight to that in a second. That's paying top 11 tonight. There's $750 up top for that one. So good luck to those from there. We'll run through all of them in a little while. The PLO, that was only a couple of runners shy of the guarantee in that, me being one of those tonight. That's paying top 5. We're down to 7 on the final table, and I've just got a beautiful bluff through Pontus Dahlgren, who's to my left. From Sweden, so hope he's not watching. But yeah, I'm a short stacker at this. Actually, there is one guy shorter than me on the table, so we've got a little bit to play with now in that one. But yeah, so that's on the final table. It's paying top 5. We've got 7 left in that, and the turbo tonight's $500 guarantee smashed it. $730 in the prize pool tonight. That makes obviously 73 runners. 38 of those remaining. We're paying top 13 in that one as well. So let's get cracking. Let's get onto this final table.
Let's get into the action.
We've got one going already. We're already lost one player on this No Limit Hold'em final table, so we are down to a standard 8 now that we would expect. Chip leader at the moment in this is Alexandra Lesnikov from Moldova, I believe. Just a little bit ahead of Jonathan Hatort. Not quite sure how you pronounce the surname. Jonathan's surname. They're actually not 100% sure. Hautot. But just a second in chips. Also on this final table, Dmitry Yurchek, who's a regular APAT player. Now, Tony Ross is on this final table. Now, I have a percentage in Tony tonight, Des.
What's that?
Yeah, so I've got a stake in. I mean, that's how it works, isn't it? If the player busts you from the tournament and you're doing the show, you get a stake.
50%. You got half of it. Love it.
That's what I thought. I mean, I've no idea what he was doing calling with his pocket 8s earlier on in the tournament.
Rubbish hand.
Good
gambling.
He's put them to good use anyway. Yeah, this is not some 2-bit Ilfracombe home game, serious stuff at play. But Tony's in there as well. Philip Huxley, Konstantin Chersin, who is another regular player from Russia that plays APAT on a regular basis, and Yasha Bonasic from Germany makes up the 8. So good luck to those players remaining. As I mentioned, $750 or just shy of $750 up top. Guys are all guaranteed pretty much $100 now. So it is all good.
Love it. Now, lots going on, Leigh. A bunch of people in the chat box, as you might expect. Guys, if you're in the chat box, just say hello, right? Here's a couple who already have. Mr. 40, who unfortunately is out of everything, Leigh. That is unfortunate. Says, hi, Leigh and Des, or is it Des, a.k.a. Keith, who got on TalkSport as a Man United fan with a very Liverpool accent, saying that Ollie was the best thing for Man United. It just goes on. It goes on and on.
He messaged me earlier on. So to be fair, so Steve messaged me about, I don't know, an hour ago saying, is there a show tonight? He said the way he was looking, he thought he might be on 4 tables by the time we go live. And it's all clearly gone horribly wrong. But he did mention to me about the caller
it happens.
on TalkSport.
It happens. But listen,
it was very funny. So.
Listen, it happens, Leigh. But in all honesty, I don't think it's Keith that's got Steve's ire. I think it's this. It is indeed the I'm an Ollie, get me out of here day. Unfortunately, and I mean that genuinely, because a lovely bloke, but Ollie Solskjaer sacked today at Man United. What do you make of that, Leigh? What's your first thoughts?
Well, it kind of felt like it was coming at some point, unless he put on, an incredible run of results. It was just, I think I said this to you last week. It just felt that every game it was waiting for him to lose again, and then the pressure would be on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a huge amount you can do about it. Strange timing, I guess, simply from the fact that. You could have done it before the international break, giving you a bit more time, but then it's been a strange announcement as well. I guess
it's been very strangely.
The thing that scares me the most is when they're talking about, Michael Carrick's going to take charge for the next few games whilst we sort out an interim manager.
Yeah.
So we're going to now have an interim manager.
Well, I read it as Carrick's a caretaker. They're going to put an interim in charge shortly, and then at some point in the future they'll put a manager in. And of course, the danger is that Carrick will get a great result in, where's he going, to Spain or somewhere on Tuesday night? He'll get a great result over there. He'll get a good result against Chelsea or something, and there'll be a clamber to appoint Carrick. I don't actually think there will, because I don't think there'll be that level of naivety as there was when Ollie came in and had an amazing run of results, and he'd been a manager before. Carrick hasn't. It very much feels like a gigs at the end of the season after Moyes kind of scenario. Very much feels that that's the situation. So we'll see. You can only hope. And it is hope at this moment in time that the powers that be have a plan, and they have somebody already lined up, but isn't going to come and be available till the summer, because they either are with a club at the moment and don't want to leave mid-season or whatever it is, and they've got a plan. The scary side is they might just not have a plan. Oh, I think it's highly likely, Leigh. I think it's highly likely.
Quite worrying. Yeah.
I mean, who there would have the plan? Because Arnold hasn't arrived in, even though he's been in for many, many years, and Ed Woodward, hasn't left yet. So, I mean, who would you trust with building the plan? Yeah, and as long as the Glazers get their cut, they don't care. They don't care.
That's the really worrying thing. I mean, as much as we've talked about, and the media have talked about Ollie's lack of tactical awareness and kind of clout in the dressing room and actually at board level as well, because that's what you need. The players really haven't done themselves any favors in the way they played.
They've been horrible, Leigh.
I mean,
terrible.
I only listened to, I was listening to BT Sport, or watching BT Sport yesterday at the 3:00 games. And I think Steve Sidwell was doing that game. And he said at halftime, the words he was using to describe United's performance, and it's the player. That's the players. That's not how we've chosen to go out and set up. We've set up there in a kind of a 4-2-3-1 formation away to Watford. And basically Watford ran more than we did. They wanted it more than we did. And United didn't look at the races in the slightest. Players out of sorts. I think Shaw's back too early. I think Shaw went off with a concussion injury again yesterday. So that's worrying. Why is he being brought back if he's not not ready yet? Maguire is just all over the place for England. He sticks his hands up to his ears and thinks but ultimately he's not there. Be interested to see what we do interim. There's the market is a fascinating one. I don't know whether you've looked at it, but it's a really interesting read, because they base it on whoever's, if they come in as an interim basis and play and manage for 10 games, they class that as a permanent manager. So that's what the market is based on.
Oh wow.
And it's an interesting market on I was looking on Sky earlier on. Fascinating. There's a couple of names in there that I think would be, weirdly, would you believe Roy Keane is the same odds as Thomas Tuchel?
Well, I guess that just suggests that there's no way Thomas Tuchel is leaving Chelsea.
But this is the problem. So you're back on the situation now of who is out there. Zidane apparently isn't necessarily in a rush to want to come in mid-season.
Listen, I heard some breaking news this morning that Zidane was doing intensive English lessons so that he could be very clear in turning United down. That's what I'd heard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a few interesting names. I think one a little bit out there that's not been mentioned. Maybe Laurent Blanc, currently managing out in Qatar. I think. I actually think he would be a pretty good option. Whether he would want to come in and just say as an interim, or whether that would be a more permanent thing, I don't. This is the problem. This is what I've talked about for weeks. Is it's all well and good saying Ollie out and yes, something's got to change. The problem is there is no plan. They don't know what that change is going to be and how they're going to make it work. So
there's no plan, Leigh. And listen, Simon Allen, who's just joined us this evening, says, "Evening, guys. Nice to see you both. Lovely to hear from you as well, Simon. Don't often get to play or watch these days." And I walk into a Man United debate. Yeah, well, we're not going to talk too long about United.
But it was kind of inevitable. It was going to be on the discussion. I've got trust. If it makes you any better, coming up later on in the show, we're going to be discussing lockdowns in Austria, cheeseburger pizzas, and anything else I can think of that's not related to Man United and Ole, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Mr. 40 said every Man United fan really wanted Ole to win as manager. No question. Absolutely no question about that. Dave Madden said, hello, lads. Hello to you, David. Tony Ross, of course, is there, right? He hasn't mentioned your 50%, Leigh. I'm disappointed about that. Doesn't seem to be taking responsibility for that commitment.
I'm going on the basis that he's not said no. It's a kind of, it's just a done deal, isn't it?
I'm with you. I'm with you. He does, however, mention Lucky Curacao. Right? Do we know a Lucky? Sounds like a Las Vegas downtown sort of guy. Apparently busted in 9th. And that's it. There's a bunch of guys out there. Say hello. Say hello. We'll know what you're watching. And there we go, Leigh. That's the latest from the chat box.
Excellent stuff. That's all good. Well, just a quick update on the poker, so we know where we're at. We haven't changed on this final table. There's still the 8 that they were to start with. We are down to 6 on the PLO final table, and I'm not the short stack. This is
incredible.
This is
incredible.
We're on the money bubble, effectively playing hand for hand at the moment on one table. Des, it's really, I've told them to hurry up, but they're not listening to me, to say the least. And we are down to 28 runners in the turbo, of which I'm currently positioned 5th.
Wow.
A
double cash.
I'm not quite sure how this
in.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this has happened, but it's where we find ourselves at the moment on a Sunday night.
Tell me, Leigh, did you see any of the World Series of Poker main event final table, or indeed any of the tournament?
No, not really. I've followed it on the kind of the online stuff, but I haven't actually watched any of the actual kind of stream or anything. So tell me all about it.
Well, I watched a chunk of it, I have to say. I just, it was that sort of thing. I just put it on in the background. So it was streaming so I wasn't following it at night. Of course, it was playing through the night. Get up in the morning, get my laptop going, get my cup of tea, stream it up onto the telly, and it was streaming there in the background. So I watched a fair chunk of it. I just love that event. It's hard not to love that event. It's hard not to particularly like seeing it from day 1 all the way through to day 10 or 11 or however far it actually went in the end. Absolutely brilliant to follow that narrative, that story through. A couple of Brits on the final table. A third went out in 20th. So that was quite interesting. Added a little bit of colour. But a lot of rather negative comment from our old mate Norman Chad on the final table about.
I did read about this.
Yeah, it's just very slow. And come on, guys, if we want poker to be mainstream and we want to bring new people in, we've got to speed it up. We've got to find a way to make it interesting. Hard to argue. Snooker's done that. Chess, of course, has a clock. You've got to make it interesting to watch.
Can I just stop you there? Breaking news, Des.
By all means, fire.
We're in the money in the Omaha.
Oh, congrats, my friend.
We've made the cash from the commentary booth. We're
very pleased. Very, very pleased about that.
I'm about to bust, I'd imagine, but that's okay. We'll take that, I think. Yeah.
So you'll be buying grapes for the guests next week. Then you'll be furnishing the green room supplies, will you?
Yeah, definitely. Peeled grapes for anyone that wants them. Yeah, that's not a problem. There we go. We do bust in 5th, funny enough. $80.
Oh, dude.
We'll take that.
What?
Yeah, we'll take that.
I was the
other guys have got many more chips on this table. So just give a quick shout. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll do even better than give a shout out. No, I'm no longer sat at that table. I will just watch an all in a call. Tupac with the 9-8 against Philip Huxley's deuces, and Tupac's hit the 9, so he's going to get a double up there. So let me just quickly jump over to the other table. Just so there's 4 left now in the Omaha. So Glyn Wellings is a massive chip leader there with 718,000. You've got Jan Volek, Pontus Dahlgren, who I mentioned earlier on, and Alessio Conti as well. So good luck to the 4 of them.
Well, I know Glenn is watching the stream, so good luck to you, sir, with a bit of a shout out there. Wayne Parker, Nosy Parker is on there as well. Who else have I seen? I've seen lots of people. Andrew Watts is there. Joe Chillmate is there. Oh, we had so many laughs with Joe last year. Do you remember, Leigh? On the show.
I do.
Yes, back, my friend. And Steve comes back and says the World Series of Poker, it was amazing, which it was. He also agrees it was painfully slow. So we got to address that in poker.
It's very, very difficult. I guess the point is that you're playing, you're creating the prize pool as players, and you're entitled to play that you want the way you want to play it. The reality of it is that, and I think some of the responses back on social media were quite accurate with Norm's comments, that the hardcore poker players are watching the live stream. The reality of it is those that might be coming into the game or want to come into the game aren't going to sit there and watch a 12-hour stream on Poker Go. They will watch the edited versions that will go out on CBS, and hopefully some of that will get broadcast in the UK on, hoping someone will pick it up, whether it's an ESPN equivalent or whatever, which will be great. But that they're going to watch the edited version. They're not going to watch them sit dwelling for 20 minutes over a hand or anything like that. It's not going to happen.
But Leigh. So listen, I can buy that, not 100%, but I can buy it at a fairly big level. What you've just said, but 2 additions. One, to edit the goddamn show down, it just becomes a nightmare, right? If you've got 2-minute sort of tanks, per card in every hand, it's just ridiculous to actually edit that down. And number 2,
did you really just say redonkulous?
Yes, absolutely redonkulous. And number 2, and this is very important. So let's say you do watch the edited version and you think, shit, that's great, I'm going to give that a go. And you end up at one of these tables. The experience is so different to what you're expecting. You literally are sat there for hours, maybe playing, 4 or 5 hands an hour. It's insane.
But that's the same with any live poker game. So it's like, what do you want to do? It's the endless conversation we have, don't we, about the differences between online and live, and people's live experiences and what you want. What do you do? Do you put a shot clock on there?
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly. Is that
well,
what
you could have a
do?
shot.
I know that was being introduced before everything went into lockdown, and that was starting to become a standard thing. I think Dusk Till Dawn had the iPads on the tables, and there was a 15-second shot clock for most tournaments, and players' feedback was really good. It was quite positive.
So you could have a shot clock, you could have a time bank. There's probably a couple of ways you could do it. Now, we know in chess, right, every player has a little clock, right? And, they bring it with them as part of their thing. So there are probably ways that you could manage this better. But the question is this: do players need 2 to 3 minutes per hand, key hands, because they're being indecisive, or they're trying to figure out the maths, or they don't want to be seen to fold easily, or what is the purpose of it? Why are they doing it? If they're doing it for absolutely the right reasons, then maybe fine. But if they're actually doing it for any reasons other than the right reasons, then why make us all suffer?
Yeah, I mean, my take on it, I mean, anyone that's ever played live poker with me will know I tend to be fairly quick player. I don't I don't dwell too long on decisions. You might have the 1 in 20 decision where you do need to have a bit of a think about it, but other than that, you should be already knowing what your decision is going to be, and concentrating on the table to know, well, if that player gets into the hand, I'm already knowing I'm getting out of the way, or whatever the different scenarios are. I don't know. I used to think it was a lot of Hollywooding and just kind of people in front of the cameras and stuff. But I'm not convinced that's the case now. Everybody seems to think that they need to spend the time as if they're doing some sort of maths calculations. And I think the reality of it, a lot of the time, you're not. It just isn't a thing, is it?
I remember this hand from 1 or 2 years ago. There was a player, and they were tanking. They wouldn't look at their hands. There was nothing coming out of them, and the players all sat there for like 3, 4, 5 minutes waiting for some sort of move, until it was identified that the player didn't actually know it was their turn.
Oh wow, that's
They
outrageous.
were
All
just
in a
waiting for
pool.
somebody else to play.
Yeah, Jonathan's got 8s and Dimitri's got the queens, and the queens are going to be good. So we're going to lose Jonathan in 7th place. So
Unlucky Jonathan.
well done to him.
Horto, how about that? It could be Horto.
Horto sounds good. Yeah, Horto sounds very good actually, but a far better effort than I made of it. So yeah, that sounds quite reasonable to me.
So who's
So
your
down
money
to
on
6.
here, Leigh?
Um,
And
well,
tell me why Tony Ross is your pick.
yeah, I was going to say it's no. To be honest, Dimitri Chick Leader plays a lot of APAT games, so so he certainly knows what he's doing on this final two. But as does Konstantin Chersin as well, and obviously Phil Huxley is a very experienced player. So yeah, it's hard to really say at the moment because I don't think with 6 left it can still be go. There's no one's got a massive chip lead. Chip lead is only twice as much as the other 2 stacks, or 3 stacks, should I say, closest. So it's not really flying away with it, is it? I think in the deep stack earlier on, I think they got heads up and the chip lead was something like a 18-1 chip lead or something silly like that. Absolutely ridiculous at that point. So yeah, and the same on the Omaha now. That Glyn chip lead has got comfortably 2.5 times the next stack, and and 7 times the short stack. So slightly different scenario at the moment. So I wouldn't want to call it at the moment.
I have a question for you, Leigh. It's a bit of a leading question. Is training still a thing for poker players? Do they actually want to learn new ways of playing, better ways of playing? Is there still value associated with training today?
Yeah, massively. I think it's changed from where it used to be. So certainly when kind of I got involved in poker, it was all about, have you read this book? Have you read that?
Yeah,
Whatever. Obviously training has moved massively on to now kind of the courses you can buy and the video content that's out there and the different groups. And there's a lot of really good training companies out there that offer stuff. Some of them can be quite expensive for what for what perhaps you get, and ultimately you never quite know until you delve into it whether it's going to be a benefit to you. It's very difficult to know, and I think that's what probably puts a number of players off, is they look at the price of some of this stuff and think, well, what if it doesn't benefit me, or what if it doesn't suit my game, or because it's not everybody's thing. I mean, not everybody wants to improve at the game of poker. Some people just play it and are happy to play it the way they play it because they just enjoy it and they're quite comfortable with that. Then others obviously do want to improve. I think training's moved very much to a more mathematical kind of feel to it in recent times. So you see all of the calling charts and all this kind of thing, and then they're going back and rerunning the data, and even that's not even a kind of a youngster coming through kind of style of doing it. You see, I mean, Sidara spends a hell of a lot of time reanalyzing hands that he plays. I saw when he was over in Vegas doing exactly that thing and looking, was that a call, was that a fold, but based on this, and trying to teach yourself for next time you're in that scenario to make a more the optimal decision, I suppose, is the way they look at it. I don't know, it possibly is squeezing a bit of the fun out of poker maybe, but ultimately it's about it's about ending up with all those chips and winning at the end of the day, isn't it?
Whoa, Konstantin's just been outdrawn here. Leigh is going to end his tournament.
Yeah, Dimitri's going to win that one. Very unlucky for Konstantin, really. Is there a good way to play jacks, Des? We often ask the question, don't we?
Listen, and to be honest, I mean, in some cases, training is there to reassure you that you know what you're doing. That's a classic question, right? How do you play jacks? Now, as far as Konstantin was concerned there, he was willing to put his tournament life on at this stage, final table. Is that the right way to go? I don't know. I may think it is. Somebody else may think it isn't. Training can reassure you that, generally speaking, this is the right approach. This is the wrong approach. Of course, we're all a bit different then on top of that. But Tony mentioned training. It's essential today, says, lots out there. And there are lots out there. How about training for free? That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I think if you can get hold of any content for free, then that's very much is a good stepping stone into it to find out whether it works for you. Yeah.
Let us know out there in the chat box, guys. Training, is that something you get involved in? Particularly if the price was as low as free? I'd love to know. Steve,
I mean, obviously, you and I, we're all for free. We're quite comfortable with free, aren't we? That works for us.
I can work with free any day of the week. That's a really sweet color, I have to say. Steve says poker books, is not value anymore. Online training is the way to go. Agree, it's all video today, Leigh. It's all video. Simon says, when are we getting on the cheeseburger pizza? Leigh, I think you're leading with that particular story. The cheeseburger pizza.
Yes, it's a new pizza at Marks and Spencer's. It's a cheeseburger pizza. So basically, it's a pizza that's got everything you'd expect in a cheeseburger. It even comes with the burger sauce, and it is just ridiculously good. You don't think it would be? Now, I spoke to Natalie and Adam about they did the quiz on Friday night, and I mentioned it at the quiz on Friday, and Natalie was having none of it. Absolutely none of it. That this thing was even should even exist. If you want a burger, she said, go and buy a burger. But trust me, it's incredibly good. They're in there. It's in the pizza meal deal thing they've got going on at the moment. As Dimitri's all in with Ace Jack, and it's top out with the Queens. Queens are at risk here. Oh, what a flop!
Oh dear,
what a flop! But the King.
There's options.
Oh,
8, 9, 10, Jack Queen.
Not to be.
Wow.
And gets there with the 8 on the end. I say did have options, had a king or I think a queen would have got there as well, and the 8, so it gets the straight. So Tapak gets a double up through Dimitri. Nothing you can do about that.
Oh, thank God it's taken that cheeseburger pizza out of my mind for just a brief moment because I was feeling a little bit.
No, trust me, it's ridiculously good. I would highly recommend it. So. So that's the cheeseburger.
I tell you, talking about ridiculously good and meaty treats that others may not like. I'm not particularly a fan of this show, but it started tonight. Of course, Leigh, we made a joke about it at the start, but my better half is she's so excited because I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here! She's so excited, Leigh.
Couldn't even tell you any of the non-celebrities that are on the show this year. I have not a clue. It's completely gone over my head. Obviously, I know that for the next couple of weeks, it will be a quiz question on a Friday night at some point.
Oh, I've no doubt.
I'll need to learn something about it.
Well, look,
can you give us the rundown of the celebrities on the show this year?
Listen, I can't. No, I mean I can't because one of our players may be recording the thing quietly, surreptitiously. I can't give any spoilers away, other than saying, I watched the sort of intro piece with her. She's so excited out there, Leigh. It's amazing, I only recognize one of them. So
is it still in Wales?
Still in Wales, yeah, still in Wales. Yeah. Oh, I think we've lost Leigh. I think we've either lost Leigh or we've lost me. Oh, it's funny. Oh. Are you there, Leigh? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Oh, well, one of us is frozen and failing.
That's never good.
No. That's very odd.
And Phil's all in with the Ace Jack, and Tapak's got the 5s. And the Jack on the river.
Right on the end.
Jack on the river for Philip.
Yeah, we're obviously getting internet problems at the moment, Leigh. I'm not sure where they're coming from, but it's looking a bit screwy online. How we doing, my friend? You still there?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly well. Yeah.
All right, let's assume we're sort of back to some level of normality then.
It's really weird because it looks crystal clear on.
Yeah, I'm getting a couple of waiting for live signals on the live output.
It's looking crystal clear on. Yeah, it's looking crystal clear on Facebook, but it's jumping in and out on Facebook again. So I wonder whether it's Facebook that's got the problems again that we had from a few weeks ago.
It could be.
That's a possibility.
But listen, Mark is
a possibility.
Yeah. Mark Winsell is out there. What's he saying? Pizza Hut do a roast dinner pizza. Not tried it yet. Jesus H Christ, a roast dinner pizza.
Oh.
Is that even legal, Leigh?
Oh, I'm liking the sound of that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm liking the sound of that. That's it's like your Christmas dinner all on a pizza. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just cover it with so much gravy that you can't see the pizza.
That's
It just looks like a big plate. Wait, Mark
Yeah,
is saying,
that's the way to do it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching on Facebook and you're getting in and out. We're getting it as well, so it might be that that Facebook are having problems with video again, which we have had in the past few weeks with them. We will keep an eye on it. That is for sure. So we're down to 5 in the No Limit Hold'em final table, down to 3 now in the Omaha. Alicio Conti finished 4th for $110. We're down to 16 players in the Turbo, so about 3 off the money now with that one.
I've called for the engineer, Lee. He's just coming now.
Excellent stuff.
We're good.
Here we
now.
go.
We're all sorted now.
That's all right. He'll go and switch it off and switch it back on again. We'll be fine.
I could do that.
Won't be a problem.
Destroy the evening. I have a really strange with my phone these days, Lee. Let me know if it's the same for you. When I'm looking at the stream, obviously I've got the stream on here on my phone as one sort of output monitor, and I'm looking at the chat box, and the chat it disappears after a couple of seconds. You got to put your finger back on the chat box for it to reappear. Is that something that happens for you? It's driving me nuts.
I don't use my phone for any of that. So so I have.
I never had it. It never was that way before.
So yeah,
driving me nuts, sir.
I mean, my biggest frustration with the chat is Facebook doesn't always show you everything or anything that's on, so it's very difficult to know.
Yeah.
Even on a desktop, quite what you've got or you've not got. I mean, I tend to not even have the Facebook stream on, so I could just have the chat. So I can keep an eye on what's going on with people. That's for sure. Oh, crikey, it's all gone a bit crazy on my turbo table. I think we'll get out of the way of that one.
Yeah, I think we got quite a deal.
So hopefully we'll, if I can.
I've just seen the clown walking across the screen on the output monitor, and that's like got to be at least a minute and a half to 2 minutes behind.
It's normally about 30 seconds at the most, and that's feeling like it's a little bit longer. So I've got a funny feeling it could be Facebook problems, and
it's buffering like hell.
That would make sense.
Well, we'll continue. Let's continue talking it through. Guys, let us know in the chat box what you're seeing, right? That's what we need to understand.
Zook is buffering like hell on a Sunday night. Yeah.
Oh, isn't he just? Come on, Zook, put 50p in the meter. Sorry, did I say put 50p in the meter?
Yeah, that's what we
the meta.
That's what we need going on.
Yeah. Right, so I'm seeing a couple of kings on the flop here.
So let's talk about
Did you say, let's talk about and then you stopped? Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, then you started. Well, you started talking about kings, so I just didn't want to.
So we're it's not only the stream that's in a different time segment to us. We're now in different time segments. Here. Oh my word! Oh dear! Oh dear!
That is slightly concerning.
Right, do me a favor. You disconnect.
Yes. So the news
listen, Lee. If you hear me, you disconnect and then reconnect back in.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Tech problems. Okay, here he comes. All right, Lee.
How are we doing?
Good. We're going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. Do you remember that from the WCOEP? So if I go 1, 2,
3, 4.
Oh Jesus, there's about a 10-second difference between us. Oh well, I tell you what. So now I'm going to disconnect
Really?
and I'll come back in. Yeah, seriously, mad, nuts, sir. At least that's what I'm seeing. So I'm going to quickly disconnect and come back in. Give me one mo, sir.